Hey gang, if you looked online at our monthly schedule, you've probably noticed that we're starting to get a little more structured gymnastics practice into our program. And what I wanted to do is I want to introduce a way of kicking up into the handstands, also known as blocking, that will help promote better body integration in just an easier way, more efficient way of going from a standing position and getting on somebody's hands. You know, we have a lot of our athletes are able to do handstand push-ups, but oftentimes what I see in the workout is I see them struggling to get up into the position. They'll go up against the wall, they'll put their hands really close to their feet, and then they're not able to generate enough momentum, especially mid-workout when they're already fatigued a little bit, in order to get up into a good handstand push-up. And I see a lot of time wasted where they could, and it's not limited by necessarily their work capacity or their ability. So what we're going to do is do just a real mini progression here. One of the issues that sometimes people are afraid of keeping a good straight body positioning while they kick up and pendulum on one leg is the distance to the ground. So we create, you add panel mats. You could use maybe a big box jump or something like that in order for the hands to have something closer within range for that to reach. But what we're practicing on when we do this blocking are a couple of things, and it's pretty simple. If you think about all the aspects that we do in an overhead press, a lot of that stuff is maintained during the handstand, during these blocking drills. So what we're looking for is a nice open shoulder position. We want the rib cage pulled down in a neutral head position. We don't press like this, so we don't want to handstand like this, especially if we want to integrate and get that body moving in one nice piece. So the first step in this drill is just going from a lunge position, practicing keeping those arms open nice and locked and supporting our body weight on the block while we kick up slightly with our back leg. Trainers, pay attention to what your client's ability level is. This isn't something you do with a client who doesn't have, say, 10, 15 good solid push-ups, or maybe can't press a third of their body weight. If that's the case, this drill is not for them. They need to stick with the basics a little bit longer. All right, so the first step in progression is we take our lunge position, have our hands up overhead. As this leg swings back, this hip's gonna stay nice and open. We're just pendulum on this one. First step is just to get that supporting leg off the ground a little bit at the end of the movement. So it looks like this. Okay, so as much as possible during the course of that movement, we're trying to maintain that open body position, open shoulders, tight abdominals. Once they're comfortable with that and they don't fall into the trap of closing the shoulders and potentially falling on their face, what you can do is take it a little bit of a step forward and just look for a slight toe touch at the end. Don't have to necessarily kick all the way to vertical during this step, but we are starting to kick up a little bit higher. There's going to be a little bit more time spent in that support position. So step number 2 looks like this. And then step number 3 would be to take it to a full-blown handstand. If they're new to this or not the most comfortable with handstands, what you'd want to do is you'd want to have a spotter here, and they would stand to the side. One arm would come out to prevent them from falling over and block the legs, and the other hand can kind of be used to help the ankle or at the knee area in order to get up to the handstand position. But again, we're kicking up a little bit higher, actually having people hold the handstand. And that step's just going to look like this. Okay, and as you get more and more comfortable, you can hold the handstand a little bit longer. Ultimately, though, that is probably the most efficient way that I can think of as far as kicking up the handstand, getting up against that wall, getting ready to do your handstand push-ups, or whatever substitution you may have for that. Thanks for listening. I hope this helped, and we'll be back soon.